The new president is off to a quick start in Washington. What does it mean for agriculture? More ahead on Grow. President Trump carries out his campaign pledge to kill the TPP. Farmers react with disappointment, saying those are lost dollars. Plus, transition farming. Does your farm have a plan? And we'll get a look at grain markets. Get ready to grow. President Trump wasting no time carrying out his campaign promises, some with big implications for farmers and ranchers, and that's our top story. President Trump approved actions to advance the Keystone Pipeline, and the other biggie as the president dumps the TPP, the trade deal supported by most farm groups. Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse reacting to Trump's TPP withdrawal, saying, quote, "It's clear that those of us who believe trade is good for American families have done a terrible job defending trade's historic successes and celebrating its future potential. We have to make the arguments, and we have to start now," end quote. And farmers say telling that story about trade starts with them.
Just right after Thanksgiving, we was in the Philippines.
When he's not farming, he's traveling the globe. At a time when farm income is down, Greg Grieving says exports bring dollars home.
We need to have every penny that we can get to squeeze out of every bushel that we can get.
Groups like Nebraska Farm Bureau say that's why the Trans-Pacific Partnership was so important. But as promised, President Trump has ditched the deal.
There's a level of disappointment here with the announcement from the Trump administration.
By their analysis, Nebraska Farm Bureau says TPP would have brought nearly $400 million a year to the state.
And so we're disappointed, but we will certainly continue to work with the Trump administration as we move forward to get good trade deals for Nebraska farmers and ranchers.
Farm Bureau leaders say beef sales in particular are hurt by high tariffs. They encourage President Trump to pursue one-on-one trade deals with Pacific countries. Grieving agrees. TPP would have opened doors, but there are other options.
Be nothing but good to get done, but there's also been a lot of trading done without it.
As his crew gears up for another growing season, Greg Grieving says that starts with what farmers have been doing, putting a face on what they produce on their farms while continuing to meet with foreign grain buyers.
Beating the bricks, promoting our products, and that's what we do best. We go over and promote it and then let business take care of it.
And driving home the point, Greg says if you look at 5 rows of beans, 3 of those will be exported, and that's why he says trade is so important. And another big announcement from the Trump administration this week. The new president calls for a 20% tariff on imports from Mexico. And while that may have limited impact on prices for Nebraska agricultural commodities, it could result in retaliatory tariffs, according to Nebraska Farm Bureau. We also asked Governor Pete Ricketts. He too has concerns about the president's plan.
Mexico is our second largest trading partner, and we want to work with the Trump administration to make sure we're expanding those opportunities. And of course, this is a negotiation to make sure we get the best deal possible for our farmers, ranchers, and companies.
In 2014, Nebraska shipped more than $1 billion worth of agricultural products to Mexico. Mexico, the 3rd largest consumer of all U.S. agricultural goods, and Mexico, the 2nd largest consumer of U.S. corn, 3rd largest purchaser of U.S. soybeans, and the 4th largest consumer of U.S. beef. All of those commodities, of course, produced here in Nebraska. And questions this week at the USDA. BuzzFeed reports the Agricultural Research Service banned news releases, photos, and communication with the public. ARS operates the U.S. Meat Animal Research Center in Nebraska, among other facilities nationwide. The acting deputy director of USDA says he's not sure why the memo was sent out. Sonny Perdue is the nominee to be Ag Secretary, but has not yet been confirmed, so other officials are temporarily in charge. And sticking with the presidential theme, let's check out the results of last week's poll question. We wanted to know what you think of President Trump's pick to lead the USDA. It's split, with most either favorable or just in the dark, frankly, about former Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue, and only a few say they disapprove of the choice. And sticking with the USDA, that agency says a major Nebraska packing plant had to be shut down last weekend because of an animal handling issue. Cattle haulers told NTV the trucks were backed up last weekend at JBS in Grand Island. FSIS, that's USDA's inspection agency, tells NTV they issued a suspension due to humane handling conditions. In a statement, JBS said plant officials immediately took action to correct an animal handling issue. The company says the plant has been fully operational and reopened that same day. The average farmer in this country is 58, and that number continues to rise. That's why some say transition planning is so critical. NTV's Ife Sanachi Egbasimba has more.
Who will manage Nebraska's future farms and ranches? It's a question many families are facing right now. So today, farmers and ranchers from across our area coming together in hopes of ensuring the future of their family business.
We have a ranch that's been in my family for 114 years, and I'm fourth generation.
Savannah Hebert and her dad, part of a group of ranchers sharing how they created a transition plan for their family's business.
My father, who's the sole owner and operator, tried to come up with a plan to bring me into the operation so there wouldn't be any surprises when he passed away.
Hebert says coming up with a plan can be difficult, but you can't avoid having those tough conversations.
I think that the most important thing in this process is just sitting down and saying, look, I'm gonna die, you're gonna die, we're all gonna die, and we need to talk about what's going to happen when that happens.
The best time to start thinking is really right now.
Pamela Olson is an attorney who specializes in transition planning for ag businesses.
As soon as you have assets that you own and manage, part of being a good steward is then making a plan for what happens with those assets once you pass away, or even what happens with those assets when you no longer want to manage them in the same way that you do now.
She says when you start talking about the future of your business, set reasonable goals, and then put a team of people together who will help make sure those goals are met.
You need to find the right kind of people, and you need to shop for those folks very carefully. You need to be working with professionals who are willing to learn about your business, who are willing to answer your questions, and folks who are willing to work together so that your team is cooperating with you in the facilitation of your goals.
But you can't stop there. Olson says you must take steps to put your plan in motion, like putting together a will or drafting a powers of attorney for finances. Organizers hope that families will leave here not only with valuable information, but also a network of people they can turn to as they navigate this process. Now, if you missed today's session, there's still one more planned. We'll have that information posted for you on our website, nebraska.tv. In North Platte, Ife Sanachi Ibosimba for NTV News.
Thanks, Ife. Now to this week's poll question. We want to know how difficult it is to get farm operating credit this year. Follow us on Twitter. Just look for NTV's Grow and cast your votes. You can export livestock, but did you know you can export genetics? The Nebraska Department of Agriculture wants producers to know cost share funds are available from the U.S. Livestock Genetics Export, USLGE, to promote sales in foreign markets. Funds are available for private breeders, companies, or co-ops promoting livestock, semen, or embryo sales in international markets. The program provides partial reimbursement up to 50% for stuff like international advertising, translation, and taking part in foreign trade shows. For more, contact the Nebraska Department of Agriculture. A land-grant university with a mission to support all of Nebraska, including agriculture. UNL Chancellor Ronnie Green says that's still important, even in the face of budget cuts. NTV's Rashida Kaba has more.
By virtue of that, we're a big piece of the state budget.
A big piece indeed, but with the state budget being cut, it has many asking how this will affect the university. But Green says they're prepared.
We're tightening our belt already through hiring. We've had a hiring freeze in place at the university since early November, and kind of thinking very judiciously about our travel, out-of-state travel in particular.
He says in doing so, he doesn't want to stray from the university's core values in agriculture.
Maintaining that statewide impact in areas of importance like food and water security, like early childhood education, maintaining sustainable natural resources, a big part of what we do. Those are landmarks, hallmarks for us.
One alum said he was pleased to know that these were the values Green had, and that despite budget cuts, according to Green, enrollment has actually spiked and is at its highest that it's ever been, sitting at almost 26,000 students at UNL.
It's pretty exciting to see the College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources enrollment continue to increase, as well as the whole university increasing its enrollment.
Green added that 65% of those students were from Nebraska, while 35% were either from other states or countries.
Thanks, Rashida. Well, it's no running of the bulls, but cattle taking over Main Street in Lawrence. It's the Bull Bonanza. No need to travel to Pamplona, Spain. All you had to do was travel to Lawrence this Saturday. No, they don't run down Main Street. They're safely confined to pens. The South Central Cattlemen Association held their 9th annual Bull Bonanza, also known as Bulls on Main Street, to show off for the public.
We raise black Angus, red Angus, and then hybrid bulls or balancers. And we'll bring a selection of each one of those to let people see those. We'll bring all the information on them, their weights, measurements, all the pedigrees, all their performance information, and put them on display and let people come and see what we have to offer.
The Bull Bonanza gives cattlemen a chance to showcase their bulls and also talk to the public and potential bull buyers from South Central Nebraska and beyond, and show off breeding and genetics programs right here from the area. We know these are international markets that farmers deal with these days. We'll take a look at what China is doing and what that could mean for the markets coming up next. Later in the show, more from the Sorghum Symposium. Stay with us.